Hi, welcome back to McKay Yoga. Today we're going to explore a really big back bend, Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is upward facing bow pose. It's very hot today, so we're just going to do it kind of more like a workshop as opposed to doing it in a flow. And what usually prevents us in these big back bends is there's some resistance in the body. So we're either tight in the shoulders, or we have tight hip flexors, or we anatomically might not be set up to do a big back bend because of the way your bones are structured in your body. So we'll look at Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow pose. And if you have 2 blocks and a strap, that's great. We're going to set up laying on our backs with the blocks. So one block's going to be at the tall height, one block's going to be at a lower height. So the tall block is going to support your head, and the block that's at the medium height is going to be at the bra line or the heart rate monitor. And it's at the thoracic spine where we need that mobility. We need the back ribs to go towards the front ribs so we can get that opening across the chest. And then we need a lot of mobility in the shoulder joint so that we can get the arms straight and that we can lengthen our lower back towards the backs of our knees. So very challenging pose, but doable. So we'll explore it today. So after you've gotten your 2 blocks, also have a strap, because I'm going to show you modifications that you could use the straps and the blocks to get you into Urdhva Dhanurasana, right? So tall block to support your head, medium block to support your upper back. And the easiest way to get into that is have your knees bent and then bring your back body to the blocks. I wore my hair specifically like this so that my hair could be out of the way when I put my head down, right? So you can call this the 2 ponytails back bend hair if you like. Soles of the feet down onto the mat, and then you're going to press into your feet, lift your hips up, and lengthen your sitting bones or even your lower back towards your heels. Now, in this position, your neck is even on all sides. So you're facilitating really good breath, meaning your chest is lifted and there's no tension in the neck. And then allow the arms to relax by the sides of the body. Now, if you have the block that's at the medium height at the right spot, you'll feel that you have the bottom tips of your shoulder blades pressing into your back body. And that's what you want. You never want your bones to stick out. The bones should go into the body. So I'm already creating that arc in my upper back, which is what we want in that upward facing bow pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So you'll stay here for about 8 to 10 breaths. And obviously, the longer you stay in this position, the more opening you're going to get across the heart and the chest. Now, to come off of your blocks, you could roll to one side, or you could take your hands to support your head, lead with your chest, lift your head up, bring your arms down, and then move your blocks to one side. So now, after you've moved your blocks to one side, let your back body adjust to being on a flat surface. Hopefully, the blocks created an imprint. So you remember how it feels to have your back ribs going towards your front ribs and this coiling of your thoracic spine in towards your chest. Take an inhale here. And then when you exhale, gently draw your knees in towards you. You can rock a little bit from side to side. And then taking your right arm overhead or your left arm overhead, roll to one side. Use your hands, push the floor away, and come up. So we'll do a seated twist. Twists before and after back bends are quite helpful. So we look at twist as a transition before and after a back bend. So cross your right leg over your left. If it's too much to have both knees bent, you could certainly straighten your left leg. Bring your right arm behind you. Take your left arm up to the ceiling. As you inhale, grow tall. And then as you exhale, twist. So feel in your twist that your shoulder blades are going in towards your chest. Right? Maintain the lift of the heart and the chest. And as you exhale, empty out a little bit more and see if you can look over your right shoulder. Stay here, inhale. Then when you exhale, slowly unwind. Lean backwards and change the crossing of the legs, right? So now the left is over the right. Left arm behind you, right arm reaches up. Inhale to grow tall. And then exhale, twist. You can use your arms and wrap them around your knee. You could certainly take like a stop sign position. You can even take a wrap and bind if you have really healthy shoulders and that's something that you practice. As you evolve, turn your navel towards your left outer hip. Stay here, inhale. Then exhale, unwind, uncross your shins, and come to all fours so you're on your hands and your knees. So recall that spot where the block was at the upper back. And as we go through rounds of cat-cow, I want you to have your mind's eye focus on that. Take an inhale and scoop your heart and your chest forward. And then when you exhale, round your spine, dome your upper back to the ceiling, allowing your head to hang. Inhale, heart forward. Your gaze can be forward, your chin can lift. Exhale, round your spine, let the head hang. We'll do 2 more like that. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, slowly round. And then 1 more time. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale to round. Now stay here, inhale. And then exhale, bring your bottom towards your heels for child's pose. We're gonna spend some time in downward dog. Downward dog is a great prep pose for upward facing dog because it works your shoulders and it works your hamstrings. We really need those shoulders to be pliable, if you will, to help us to get into that very complicated posture. So as you extend your arms forward and straight, I want you to take your hands wide, the width of your mat, and if you can, I want you to hold onto your mat. When you're holding onto the outside edges of the mat, imagine that you could pull your mat apart. Keep externally rotating the upper arms and the arm sockets. Keep your upper arms, elbows, and forearms lifted. As you inhale, shift your weight forward. As you exhale, curl your toes under, lift the knees towards straight, coming into downward dog pose. So recall that area of the upper back where the block was. Can you create the actions of that block? Can you move your back ribs towards your front ribs? Can you continue to press the bottom tips of your shoulder blades deeper into your back body? Draw the navel in, press your thighs back, and lengthen the inner and outer heels towards the mat. And maybe generating a little bit of heat as you hold this downward dog. Stay here, inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to release your hands and bring your hands back to about shoulder width. Let your head hang. And then walk your hands back to meet your feet. You're at a forward fold at the back edge of your mat. Stay here, inhale. And then we're going to come into a low lunge. So if you need to have a blanket or a towel to pad your knee, find that. Then walk back out to downward dog. And as you inhale, reach your right heel backwards. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Bring your right foot forward. Lower your left knee down. So a component part of back bends is a lunge. So the hip flexors. The lunging is going to get us to the hip flexors. And this tightness across the front body, it can prevent you from going into that back bend. So we'll address it by stretching it. Right? Have your hands on either side of your right foot. You could use your blocks here. And see if you can inch your right foot just a little bit more forward. When you do that, see if you can take your left leg a little bit further back. And so instead of being on your left kneecap, see if you can come towards the top of the left thigh. So you're lengthening out that hip flexor. Take an inhale here. And now when you exhale, we're going to come into that half split, addressing the hamstring. Really flex your right foot so the toes are curling towards you. Your left hip back, right hip forward. And try to lengthen your heart and your chest forward. Stay here, inhale. Then when you exhale, bend your right knee, curl your back toes under so your back knee lifts. And you're going to step back to plank pose. From your plank, shift your weight forward, bend your elbows and come all the way down to the ground. If you needed to, you could always put your knees down first. So cobra pose is going to be great to help us with Urdhva Dhanurasana. Fingertips in line with the chest. Press the tops of the feet down. Lift the shins, the knees, and parts of the thighs from the ground. Pin the elbows towards one another, and inhale as you lift your heart, lift your chest, coming into cobra pose. Soft gaze at the tip of your nose, and then isometrically digging the heels of the hands towards your outer hips. Take an inhale here. Then exhale, slowly lower. Curl your toes under, lift the inner thighs, push into the ground, inhale, plank pose. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward dog pose. Join your feet together. And when you inhale, reach your left heel backwards. When you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Place your left foot forward, gently release the right knee down. Hands on either side of your foot or use your blocks. Begin to see if you can take your left foot a little bit more forward, right? Maybe slide the right knee a little more backwards. So as you lunge, try to come off of your right kneecap. Your left heel is directly over your left ankle, but you could certainly wiggle your left toe so your weight is in the heel of that left foot. Take an inhale here. Then when you exhale, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. So now flex your foot. If you just had one block, you could take one block behind your left calf, right? Have your hands hold onto that block. Lift your kneecap, lift your quad. Really try to engage the muscles of the front leg so that you can open up the muscles of the back leg. When you inhale, bend your left knee so your left foot comes back down to the ground. And then when you exhale, curl your back toes under. And once again, step back to plank pose. Now we're going to come into upward dog pose. So shift your weight forward, bend your elbows. Inhale to up dog. You're going to pause. So your shoulders are right over the creases of your wrists and you're lengthening your lower back towards your feet. And then exhale as you draw back to downward dog pose. Join your feet together. Inhale. As you exhale, draw your right knee in towards you. Bring your right foot forward. Get steady on your feet. And then inhale, come up to crescent lunge. So we're still addressing the hip flexor. Now, when you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Stay here, inhale, and then exhale, twist. So the twisting is going to get to our thoracic spine and help us with the back bends as well. Right? So addressing the shoulder girdle and addressing the hip flexors. Key component parts for our back bends. Stay here, inhale. Then when you exhale, bring your hands to frame your foot, down dog pose. Now, as you come back to downward dog, try to keep the hands separated shoulder width and feet hip socket distance. As you inhale, extend your left heel backwards. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Bring your left foot forward. And get steady on your feet. And then inhale as you come up, crescent lunge. Try to lift up and out of the sides of your waist. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart, pause. Take an inhale. And then exhale, twist. Right arm to the outside of your left thigh. See if you can lift the inner lining of the right leg up so your right leg is super straight. Stacking your left shoulder over your right. And try to get your thumbs towards your sternum. I know you can't see, but pay attention to the back body. Can you plug the bottom tips of your shoulder blades deeper into your back body? Stay here, inhale. Then when you exhale, bring your hands to frame your front foot. Step back to downward dog, pause. Take a breath here. Now inhale, reach your right heel backwards. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Bring your right foot forward, left heel down. So you'll either line up your right heel with your left heel, or you'll take your right foot a little bit more to the right so you're about hip socket distance. Angle your left toes towards the front left corner of your mat. Bring your hands to your outer hips. And with your hands on your outer hips, steer your right hip back and your left hip forward. Right? So as you press your left thigh back, you're again trying to address that hip flexor, right? Now reach your arms out in front of you. Draw your arms into the arm sockets. And as you inhale, float the arms up to the ceiling. Externally rotate your arms in the arm sockets. That's what they're going to do when you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana. Draw the navel in, lift the heart, lift the chest. Now, if you have that mobility in your shoulders, you can bring your palms together to touch. And then when you exhale, hands frame foot, step back, down dog. Inhale, left heel reaches back. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Bring your left foot forward, right heel down. So you decide, front heel lining up with back heel or front heel lining up with nothing. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Lift your heart, lift your chest, left hip back, right hip forward. Try to seal the little toe side of your right foot firmly on the ground. Reach your arms out in front of you. Draw your arm bones back into the arm sockets. Float the arms up. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Look up. Maybe the palms touch. And then exhale, hands to the ground. This time step back to plank pose. Shift your weight forward, bend your elbows. Inhale, up dog, pause. Bend the elbows, straighten your arms. Draw the navel in and really try to lift your chest towards the space that's in front of it. And then exhale, roll over your toes as you draw back to downward dog pose. Take a few breaths in your downward dog. So hip flexors and shoulders. Now we'll do a little bit more work with the shoulders. It's called clocking the arm. Take an inhale here. And then when you exhale, bring your feet forward. Lift your heart, inhale. Fold back down, exhale. Press down into your feet, inhale. Reach your arms up as you look up. And then exhale, bring your arms to your sides. So hopefully you can see, I'm just gonna adjust the screen a second. You can do what I'm doing at the wall, and you can also do what I'm doing on the floor. I'm gonna show you at the wall, just because I think you'll see better. So you take your arm to the height of your shoulder, and you come really close to the wall. So here, my armpit chest is really close to the wall. And if this wall was like a clock, my arm would be at like 3 o'clock. And so I'm stretching the delt. I'm getting that arm to go straight. It's going to help us with Urdhva Dhanurasana. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, turn to the wall. Then we'll do, change sides. Left arm at the wall. And you try to get your armpit chest as close to the wall as you can. And then the heart turns towards the opposite direction. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, turn towards the wall, slowly release. And we'll do a sun salute to take us down, right? So inhale, stretch and reach your arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, plant your palms, take your feet back, lower your body down. Inhale, up dog. You're going to pause in that up dog position. And then exhale to down dog. And then we'll set up for Sphinx pose. So come down to your elbows. Bring your arms out in front of you, setting up for Sphinx pose. So the hands are separated the width of your shoulders. You're pressing into the inner and outer wrists. You're pressing into the elbows. You're lifting the heart. You're lifting the chest. You're lifting your gaze. Tops of the feet pressing down. Stay here, inhale. Now when you exhale, curl your toes under. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, lift up to forearm plank. Inhale here. And then exhale, walk your feet forward to dolphin pose. So dolphin's going to address the shoulders and the hamstring. And it's like down dog, but just amped up. Great postures that we've been doing to get us ready for Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing dog pose. Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, lower your knees, rest, pause. I'm sorry, I combined two poses together. Upward facing bow. I combined that with upward dog. That was very funny. I just got that one. That's not correct. Okay, so let me show you how we can work with the blocks and how we can work with the strap. So the first one is, I'm going to have my hands on the block. It's helpful if you have a wall. If you don't have a wall, that's also fine. So let me show you with my hands on the blocks. Your sticky mat should be able to keep the blocks in place. You're going to separate the blocks about shoulder width, and your head's going to go in between the blocks. Now, how my hands are on the block is my fingertips are going to point towards my shoulders. So the heel of my hand is going to go on the block, and the fingertips are probably going to hang off the block a little bit. I'm going to bend my knees and lay on my back. And then if you situate it, It's like your blocks are like earmuffs, right? Press down into your feet. Take your upper arms and place them by your rib cage. Press down into your feet and inhale, lift the hips up high. And then exhale, release the arms. Draw your arms underneath you. And so now you're in bridge pose. Satyabandha Sarvandasana. Same actions, back ribs towards front ribs. My lower back and sitting bones are reaching towards the backs of my knees. This is exactly what I want them to do in Urdhva Dhanurasana. So Urdhva Dhanurasana round 1 with your hands on blocks. So now I'm taking the heel of my hand onto the block. The fingertips are pointing towards my shoulders. Okay? Come up to the crown of your head and just wait. And then make sure that the elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. And then inhale or exhale to straighten the arms and legs as you come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. And then to come down, tuck the chin and slowly release. So using the blocks underneath the hands, it's going to give you a little bit more space in the shoulder joint. And if you have wrist issues, it elevates the wrist in a way that there's no tension there. Now, we can use the blocks underneath the feet, and that's going to give you more space for your lower back and sacrum. You might be able to lengthen a little bit more towards the backs of your knees. Right? So now the blocks are going to be like shoes. Here we go, Urdhva Dhanurasana, round 2, blocks under feet. You have to bring your sitting bones a little bit closer towards the blocks. If you have big feet like me, either your toes will hang off or your heels will hang off. Probably better that the heels hang off so that you don't grip or clench your toes, right? You're on the sticky mat so the blocks won't slip, but you could certainly do this against the wall, which is great. Bring your sitting bones closer towards the blocks. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and point your elbows straight up to the ceiling. And same thing like we did in round 1, come up to the crown of your head, pause. Okay, so here, keep the hands separated shoulder width, feet hip socket distance. You can use your inhale or exhale to straighten your arms and legs. Try to lengthen your lower back towards the backs of your knees. Try to get that armpit chest to stay open and wide. And just allow the head to really hang. Stay here, inhale. And then when you exhale, tuck the chin. Bring the back of the head down, upper back, lower back, mid back, and sacrum down. And then you're going to get rid of your blocks. I'll pause here for a moment. So back bends, they're very energizing. And they can be very heating, which is why we're doing this more like a workshop, because it's coming at you from Orange County. And it's so hot right now. So from here, roll to one side, bring yourself up, and then I'll show you how you can use the strap in your back bend. So the strap, you're going to make the width of your outer thighs. You're going to take that strap and wrap it around your leg, right? So your strap, you're going to thread it through. And there's other ways you can do Urdhva Dhanurasana. If in the future I'll have some students to demo for you, and you can see how you can do Urdhva Dhanurasana with a strap at the lower back, with students helping you to get that space in your lower back. Also, maybe taking the hands to hold on to the ankles to get that space in the thoracic spine. So that's coming, right? I'll have students come in and I'll show you other things you can do, and it'll be more of an interactive workshop video. Okay, so now I've got that strap around my thighs, and it's going to remind me to not let my knees splay out. If my knees splay out, that means I'm going to take all the pressure in my lower back. We don't want that. We want to maintain space in the lower back. In yoga, we're trying to get space, not cut it off. So Urdhva Dhanurasana, round 3, with strap around the thighs. Bring your sitting bones closer towards your feet. Have the strap so that the tail end is out of your way. Hands underneath the shoulders, elbows point straight up to the ceiling. And already think of lengthening your lower back and your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Then you're going to come up to the crown of your head and pause. So we stop here so that we can just make sure that the hands and feet are in correct alignment. And then inhale or exhale to straighten the arms and legs. So here, the strap is reminding me not to let my knees splay. Still get that openness across the heart of the chest, back ribs towards front ribs, lower back towards the backs of the knees. I'm trying to make that beautiful upward facing bow. And then to come down, tuck the chin, back of the head, upper back, mid back, low back, and sacrum. Then you'll remove the strap. Take the legs up to the ceiling and just kind of do a little moonwalk on the ceiling. That sometimes can feel really good to your lower back and your sacrum. And then bring the feet down about the width of your mat, and you can just do like a windshield wiper twist with the legs, which is really nice to relieve the lower back and sacrum issue. But hopefully, because we addressed the component parts of the body that needed to be educated, warmed up, strengthened so that we could do the pose, there's no tension in the body. So that's my hope, that's my intent. And then take your right arm overhead, roll to one side. And we'll do another seated twist. So again, those twists before and after back bends are great. Right arm's gonna come behind you, left arm's gonna reach up. Inhale. And then exhale as you twist. The same twist we started with, right? And maybe perhaps feel if there's any more mobility in your upper back, your thoracic spine. When you exhale, slowly unwind, change the crossing of your legs. The left arm behind you, right arm up, inhale. And then exhale to twist. As you inhale, reach the crown of the head up. As you exhale, maybe evolve and twist a little bit more. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, unwind, and free your legs forward and straight. So the emphasis was Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow, which is a huge back bend. Good to twist before and after, right? So after that huge back bend, you've done your transition with your twist, now you can take a forward bend, right? So inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, bow and fold. So if you have a lot to do in your day, doing back bends is really great because they're energizing. I don't recommend doing a lot of back bends as the day progresses because it can affect your sleep quality because, again, they're energizing. So you want to look at back bends as postures you do when you have a lot to get through. And then when you want to be more mellow, forward folds, cooling, as I did in a previous video. As you inhale, reach the arms forward and out. As you exhale, release the arms down. And come to any seated position that you can maintain a tall spine. So I hope this video was helpful. Maybe you understood a little bit more about Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow. And hopefully you are able to use elements of this video to address your shoulders and your hip flexors. If this information was helpful, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell, subscribe to this channel. In the meantime, peace out and ciao for now.